Okay, hello. Just put my timer. I'll be brief. So you know how Sueli is tight with these things. I don't want to have any problems. Thank you all for being here, and thank you particularly to Sueli and to Ian for the kind invitation to be part of this Quit Like Sweden event. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Federico Fernandez, as Sueli very kindly introduced me. I am originally from Argentina, although I'm based in Europe most of the time. I came from Poland. It's my first time in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, and I hope it's not the last. We'll see after this, this talk. It could be. Uh, anyway, what I want to do, I think, to set the stage for these two gentlemen who, probably will be, but probably not for sure, will be much better than I do, is to discuss with you a few findings of an index that We Are Innovation published this year for the second time. And that is those are the findings of the 2024 Effective Anti-Smoking Policies Global Index. And I want to compare particularly the results of Malaysia and Sweden, because we are in a Quit Like Sweden event. What is the index, very briefly? In the index, what we try to measure are the how different countries are fighting smoking, particularly how these countries are making use of innovation in order to fight smoking. And by this, it's very simple. What we are measuring is what are the legal frameworks of innovative nicotine products. These are vaping, heated tobacco, nicotine pouches, and snus, that it's quite old, but it would be a great innovation in many countries because it's banned in many countries. Why we are doing this? Because we want to provide decision makers, stakeholders, regulators, like a metric. As Lord Kelvin said, if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. So we all know that some countries are doing better than others, but this goes, we hope, beyond perspective. I'm not going to go through all this because I don't have time and it's quite boring anyway. But the index measures 11 different issues regarding these 4 products. You can visit the index, by the way, at antismoking.global. There's all the information. I don't have time, but just want to highlight this because this makes us very proud. The index covers 70 countries for a combined population of 5.7 billion people. That's 70% of humanity. So it's a very big sample. And from those, close to a billion live in the top 20 countries. You could say the countries that have the better policies. But almost 5 billion live in countries that certainly have room for improvement. So this is also a call, to pay attention to what's going on. Some of the results. Who's winning and who's not doing that well? England is winning. This is not the World Cup, obviously, because England we know that this would never happen. And speaking of the World Cup, Argentina won the World Cup in 1997 in Malaysia, so I love this country. We are Argentinian, by the way, the two of us. So England is closely followed by Sweden, Slovakia, Ireland, the Czech Republic, Switzerland, Lebanon, Greece, United States, and Spain. That's the top 10. What are the lowest? Argentina. Again, this is not football. Norway, Mexico, and from Australia downwards, sorry, I forgot to put the star by Turkey, all those countries have blanket bans for all the 4 products that I mentioned. So the star is highlighting something, but it's not very, very positive. And what about Malaysia? It's not that I forgot. Don't worry. This is Malaysia. This is the photo of Malaysia. In the overall ranking, let's say when we combined the regulations of the 4 different products, Malaysia is 49th out of 70. So it's not doing that well. It's very close to the bottom 20. On vaping, it's 44th. In heated tobacco, it's 54th. Snus, 30th. And nicotine pouches is 46th, sharing the last position with a lot of countries because, the product is completely banned here. In the region, we use the regions of the World Bank, for instance, and other international organizations. Malaysia belongs to the Asia-Oceania region and is 8th out of 17. is not a region that is doing particularly well, by the way. There are exceptions such as New Zealand and the Philippines, but you have countries like Australia, which is a hellish country regarding this issue. So, I mean, you are, let's say, halfway there in a region that is not doing that well. Perhaps a nice challenge for next year when I come back, hopefully, and we can discuss the 2025 results, would be to try to push Malaysia to the level that is at snus, being 30th or above 30th. That would make a big change, particularly because in some categories let's say the competition will be way harder than in snus. So if Malaysia could be 30th or above in other categories, it would definitely help. Very quickly, we are in an event about Sweden. This has been discussed, but just to mention a few things regarding Sweden, why, let's say, Malaysia could... sorry, I forgot. And this is Sweden, by the way. Sorry, this is Sweden. Sweden is second overall, only trailing the UK. On vaping is 9th, heated tobacco is 18th, snus is second, and nicotine pouches is first. It's the first in the European Union because the UK is not anymore, and the second in Europe. And why, let's say, the Swedish example, let's say, what are the features and what could be emulated? Sweden, Anders mentioned it in particularly, has been a good student of the World Health Organization and also the European Union regarding the classical... I don't like to use tobacco control because, I mean, tobacco has gone beyond smoking, combustible tobacco. So I would like to talk about smoking. Has done the traditional things, that's fine. Has also invested a lot of money educating people, that's great. But it's also, and as Frederick and Anders particularly explained, has allowed people who used to smoke to have a different offer of innovative alternative products that allow you to consume nicotine without destroying your heart and your lungs. Basically, that's let's say, those products are affordable, are acceptable, and are accessible in Sweden. That's what they have done. And a couple of, let's say, conclusions. Sorry, I have been very quickly. Please visit antismoking.global if you want to know more about the index. I'll be here, of course. We can talk later in the lunch session. And again, thank you very much for the invitation. But just very quickly, a few conclusions that have to do with Malaysia and have to do with many countries as well. Abstinence only dogma is barbarism. I mean, in 2024, to force people who currently smoke either to quit or die, it's inhumane and it's completely unscientific. Sweden has a comprehensive approach. You don't have to throw the baby with the water, as the expression say in the US. I wonder where that expression comes from. I mean, who did that, or why it happened, but it doesn't matter for now. You can follow the ideas and the directives that come from the World Health Organization regarding smoking, but you can also have a more open approach toward innovative nicotine products. Sweden has amazing achievements and projections. Sweden is about to become smoke-free, and the cancer rates and all the smoking-related diseases in Sweden are way lower than compared to the rest of the European Union. If you compare it with the rest of the world, the difference would be even bigger. These are valuable lessons for Malaysia and for other parts of the world. And in this, let's say, Malaysia should only do what it's doing in other topics. When I was flying here, I was reading the Financial Times. I had a lot of time because it was a very long flight to come here, and it was highlighted in one of the articles that Malaysia is. This was great because it was an article about how the global south is rising in many ways, and one of the key points that the author was highlighting is Malaysia is a huge exporter of electronics, for instance. Malaysia has become a very fertile soil for data centers, so Malaysia has embraced innovation already. You can see this is a very modern country, a very forward-looking country in many ways, so why not embrace innovation to solve the problem of smoking? It's not that difficult. And if you do that, we can save a lot of lives here, and if all countries did that, we can save 1.3 billion of lives around the world. Again, thank you very much for your attention, and now I give the floor to YB. Thank you.